All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I'm going to give our honor and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakwadash. Say, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahushai, Bahashem, Chakwadash. And we give double honors to our apostle elders, which are the apostle elders, a great millstone, which feed us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahbashim Yahushai. 2023, which is the hopeful year that all the prophecies are fulfilled. Let's jump right into this lesson. This lesson has been on my mind at work all night, and just I'm excited to be able to do it. When you jump into a lesson, you might have an idea for a lesson, but then you go into the precepts, and when the precepts start matching, and this is really the comforter. It's not, it wasn't a man. A man can't comfort the way we are being comforted, because guess what? Each man's walk is different. So one man would have to know every man's walk and what would comfort that individual man. That's why the comforter is not a person, or it's a spirit, because the spirit knoweth all of us. Just like the Lord said, all the numbers of our hairs numbered to him. You know what I'm saying? I was reading in the Apocrypha where the Lord told Esdras, if I'm not mistaken, he told Esdras to go and weigh the fire, and tell me A144 and tell me what the weight of a fire is, so the Most High is down. He knows everything, and he was telling them that, look, these are the things that you can't be separated from, and you can't answer those for me. So how much more can you know where a evil heart cometh from? So pretty much the Lord was telling them through the angel, was saying, look, you trying to dig too deep. The Most High has everything covered. That's why it take comfort in these scriptures to know that Yahweh Shem Yahshua has it. And this has been in my mind, and I'm just gonna put it out there. It's like, if you can't trust the Lord, then who can you trust? What can you trust? If Yahweh Shem Yahshua has given us the utmost knowledge through Esau's rise, we've learned certain things and seen certain things. That's why it says that he's wiser than Daniel, and Daniel was a wise and a beloved man of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So for Esau to surpass that knowledge, because the Lord put the spirit on him to do these things, just like basketball was a Edomite only sport until Jake got in there. Just like now, this rulership has been an Edomite ruled thing, since Jake has fallen. But guess what? We're about to make the rulership look good. That's how I'm gonna put it. So this lesson is called the metamorphosis of the elect. The metamorphosis of the elect. All right. So first thing, let's get the word metamorphosis. The word metamorphosis, 1530. It says change of form or structure. Okay. Action of or process of change in form, because Solomon told us this, and we know Solomon is Yahushai coming back in the reincarnation. That was Yahushai in his reincarnation when he was Solomon, and then he came back as Yahushai to be the deliverer of Israel by sacrificing himself by going on the cross for our sins. So what did Solomon tell us? He said, "Go to the sluggard, thou ant, go to nature." And I've touched on this before, but the one thing is that the Lord is speaking to us by nature, by the things that are right in front of us. The things the Lord left us breadcrumbs to follow him and to see his ways. We can't know of the Most High's ways, but you can see his actions and learn from that. All right. And Solomon told us to go down to the sluggard, go to the ant, thou sluggard, and see how the ant works and see how the cohesion of a anthill works. But the main thing is, look at nature. We're going to get into that here shortly. And it says originally, especially by witchcraft, which, they're going off. All right. From Latin metamorphosis, from Greek metamorphosis, a transformation, from meteropon, to transform, to be transfigured. We know that Yahushua was transfigurated. He was transferred or transfigured himself into three entities. All right, Moses, Elijah, and you had Yahushua in the middle. So you can see the power that he had and was able to do. So the things that he was able to do, the elect will have that ability. All right, and he said more. He said, "What I do, you shall do more and greater." Okay. And it says to transform, to be transfigured. From meta here indicates change, and morphe, shape, form, or word, uncertain etymology. Okay. So when we break down the word metamorphosis, it says in an insect or amphibian, the process of transforming from an immature form to an adult form in two or more distinct stages. So just like it says that we as a nation have been infants, because it says that we grew in Egypt. I can get that real quick. This is one of my favorite verses. So let me pull it up. This is the book of Ezekiel 16, because this is when the Lord gave us how he came to us, the love that he had to us. He speaks to us in this verse, especially. All right. Let's start at right here. This is Ezekiel 16 and verse 4, and it says, and as for thy nativity, and what's a nativity? Birth. All right. Nativity, in the day that thou was born, thy navel was not cut. And what is the navel? All right. The navel, let's go ahead and look it up. Let's look it up. Let's not guess. All right. The word navel is shore. It says umbilical cord, navel string. And just like an apple, okay, just like an apple has a core, just like an apple has a stem, okay, that's what an apple's umbilical cord is this right here. This part of the apple is the umbilical cord that's connected to the tree. This right here is an umbilical cord that, and you see it's dried up. That's how you know it says we're fruit. This image should prove to you that we're living fruits. We're living like plants, living animals. Okay, because the apple has a stem. This stem, that's where you get stem cell from. Okay, right here, apple stem cell. So a human has a stem cell. Okay, that's what it's talking about. Our navel wasn't cut. That's why it says, he that abideth in me, I shall abide in him. Okay, so this is how we were, connected to your mother's womb, and your mother, to feed you and to nourish you. You go through your umbilical cord. The Most High is far out. So when it says thy navel was not cut, our umbilical cord was not cut. Okay. So you can have that understanding. Now let's read it again. Umbilical cord, okay? And it says, as for thy nativity, the day that thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water or suppled thee, thou was not salted. And what is salted go into? When a baby is born, they're salted, okay? Because salt dries up moisture. So when the baby comes out of the mother's womb, they would swaddle the baby in a cloth and salt, and the salt would dry up the skin, because when a baby comes out, they're full of that bile, they're full of that mother, they're in water. That's why it says I was compassed in my mother's belly with blood and water. So we're born in water, and when you come out, your skin is not used to that. It's very what's the word I'm looking for? It's saturated. So what does the salt do? The salt pulls the moisture out of the baby's skin. Okay, that's why if you read in the time of Yahweh Shai, where it says that he was swaddled in a manger, that was customary back then to swaddle a baby. But if the baby would be swaddled in that salt, okay, and salt is also antibacterial. It has antibacterial properties, so it would draw out that liquid from the baby's skin and sort of harden it, solidify it, if that makes sense. And it says, thou was not salted nor swaddled at all. Okay. That means we didn't have what you call the understanding. We weren't put together as a nation. Okay. We were ragtag, if you want to say that. It says, none eyes pitied thee to do any of these unto thee. to have compassion unto thee, because when will we truly become a nation? We became a nation in Egypt. That's why the Lord said, I took thee from the iron furnace to have compassion on thee, but thou was cast out in the open field to the loathing of thy person, and in the day that thou was born. And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted, and what did the Lord pass? Because what did he tell Moses? He said, the cry of my people have entered into my ears. Okay, so when he passed, and you even have the Passover, okay? And it says, I saw thee polluted in thy own blood. And what is our blood? Sin, wickedness. I said unto thee, it says, and I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. And how did the Lord do that? The Lord did that by the prophets. He said, I've hewn them by the mouth of the prophets. So the Lord speaks by the prophets, just like the apostle elder brought out about we heard the voice in the cool of the day. That's going into the prophets in the time of the garden. It says, I said unto thee, thou was in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when thou was in thy blood, live. When it says twice, come back. What is it? He that wandereth out the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So when we live, we come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. We come back to who we are and worshiping Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. No idolatry, no wickedness. That's how we live. It says, I've caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxen great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thine hairs grown, whereas thou was naked and bare. So what does that mean? That means we were growing as a nation. We were being established as a nation. Now when I passed by thee, I looked on thee, and behold, thy time was a time of love. And I spread my skirt over thee. And what is that? Protection. Coming into a covenant. When the Lord brought us into Mount Sinai, he said he kept us. He also said he kept Moses for a season. All right. So the Lord gave us that law, statutes, and commandments, and spread himself over us, the skirt, and covered thy nakedness. Yea, and just like he told about Aaron, about the cover the filthy garments. So garments are symbolic of the truth and the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I swear unto thee, entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord, and thou becamest mine. So this is when the Lord brought us back unto him. Okay. So now we set the tone with that. We know what the word metamorphosis is, the process of transformation for immature form to an adult form in two or more distinct stages. So we, as a nation, we became young, we became, grew up. We weren't fully grown when the Lord gave us the law. That's why it says that he wrote it on stony hearts, hardened, just like a child is hard-headed. That's why it says a hard head make a soft ass. Okay. We were immature as a nation. That's why the Lord, he winked at it. He winked at our wickedness, but he still punished us because guess what? These laws, these curses are a schoolmaster. They're likened unto a rod of correction. He that spareth the rod spoileth the child. So the Lord disciplined us by way of these curses, by way of jacking us up, because we learn not just like you get an ass whooping. Ass whooping don't feel good. Anybody told you ass whooping feel good, he might be an Edomite. I'll just play. No, I'm not playing. But no, if somebody say they like getting whooped and they like pain, you got to wonder about that guy. Some ain't clicking. Pain is supposed to register as something that's not good. So we were disciplined by way of these laws, statutes, and commandments, and the curses that came with that. So when we were disciplined, that was us showing, just like the Lord said, you spare a rod, you spoil a child. That's why it says let me get it. Let me get that real quick. See? Let me see here. This is Psalms 13 and verse 24. And it says, he that spareth his rod hateth his son. So the Lord loves us. He said, he that he loveth, he chastises. So if he shows us that he loves us by way of the law, the curses, that's showing he loved us. But Jacob look at it like, damn, the Lord don't love us. And this is some bad thing that he wanted to cast us away and put us in slavery. and displace us. No, that was a part of love. The Lord loves us. So he said he keeps us as the apple of his eye. So he jacked us up. He put the curses on us. He put a nation over us. There was hard. That was a part of the law. That was a part of the whipping stick. What did David said? Keep me from the wicked, which is thy sword. What we can also call Esau a belt. If Jake get dramatic about a sword, like, oh, the sword is it, will you come back? So let's say Esau is the whipping stick of the Lord. He whooped us with Esau. That's why he was set forth. Esau was set as a living belt. Esau's a living belt. He's a living whooping stick. That's why he don't know nothing but to whoop Jake ass, man. He'll let Moab be easy. He'll let Japhet chill out. But when it comes to Jake, no, he's a sentinel for that. He's going to gusto. Why? Because he's created as that discipline stick, a disciplinary action. Okay. It says he who spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chastise him by time. See, and the word there is promptly. Let's go to the NIV. It says, whosoever spare the rod hates their children, but the one who loves their children is careful to discipline them. So this shows how much the Lord loves us for disciplining us the way that he did. Okay, so let's jump into the article real quick. So the metamorphosis of the elect. Okay, so there's this article right here. It says 5 animals that go through metamorphosis and how they do it. So let's jump. We're going to go right into the butterfly and just read, because it says, thou art a worm, Jacob. Okay, so butterfly is a perfect example to compare what is getting ready to take place to the elect. So this can make sure, because like you tell Jake, they want to see it's like a fantasy or something that is far-fetched. But we see examples of it every day. And this has been going on for hundreds, if not thousands of years, that a butterfly has been going through this metamorphosis. There's nothing new under the sun. All right. And it says, okay, let's go right here. It says butterflies. It says an adult stage. It says butterflies are the adult stage of an insect belonging to the group called Lepidoptera, which is Greek, which meaning scaly wings. Ooh, that's heavy. It says the term is a process as the wings of these insects have thousands of overlapping tiny scales. They give the butterfly its stunning appearance as the scales are set in colorful patterns unique to their species. So just like the Lord, just like it says Solomon was not arrayed as one of these, the Most High is going to beautify the nation of Israel, starting with the elect. This is going to be his great work. This is like the apostle says, his magnum opus. If you brothers looking at that word, I looked it up when the apostle went into it. A magnum opus. All right. Great work. OK, it says the term is as wings. It says the unique species. Butterflies have a typical body of insect, head, torso, abdomen, and 6 legs. They also have an exoskeleton and 2 antennae. The first stage of butterfly's life is the ovum or egg. This shell is tiny and can be cylindrical, round, or oval. Females attach eggs to plant stems or leaves, which serve as food when the larvae hatch. Just like the Lord, he set us up. We started as a low level. It says even in, what does it say that in Deuteronomy 7? It says, I have chosen thee because thou was not greater, but, you were least of the nations. We had humble beginnings. Okay. It says, females attached, when they hatch. It says in the second stage, the larva caterpillar hatches. Just like I just read in Ezekiel 16 chapter, we became a nation in Egypt, the iron furnace. We hatched in Egypt. That's when the patriarchs, the 12 tribes, the sons came into Egypt. You had Joseph that was already set up, which was all set up in the spirit. That's why Joseph received the dream. That's why he came in Pharaoh's house. Everything was planned perfectly. You couldn't even have guessed it so perfect. It says the larva caterpillar hatches. The new animal may have a number of legs, several pairs, but pairs will be true legs, but some will be false legs, pro legs. See? So the Lord, just like a caterpillar, has many legs, but certain legs are not useful, not used. The caterpillar has a voracious appetite and spends most of its life eating, just like we've been